All right, so let's talk about the New York Giants. They're weird. They seemingly beat teams that they shouldn't beat. And we're also going to talk about the Raiders and kind of what went wrong. And I'm more taking this from the Raiders' perspective. The Giants, this season is kind of a lost season for them. For the Raiders, they have high hopes in this one. So what happened? How do you lose to to a team that you should probably beat in the Giants? And obviously, there's the off-the-field stuff that they've been plagued with, that they keep having to sort of fight through. So maybe that factored in. Like, that's totally fair. But that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm more really going to talk about just what went wrong on the football field, and specifically what went wrong with Derek Carr, because I thought that he made some bad plays, quite frankly. And I'm, a big Derek Carr guy. I did not think this is Carr's best game. So let's just get into the film study and I'll show you what I mean. So let's just start things off with something like this. It's something simple, but it is something that, listen, we've come to expect Derek Carr to make these plays and he's not going to do it. So what's going to happen is it's just a quick screen pass, but honestly, these are the types of plays that you kind of want to get against the Giants. The Giants are a team that plays a lot of zones, so you know where these guys are going to be for the most part, although they disguise pretty well, but still, it's zone coverage, so you can typically get some yards on stuff like that. It's very different than sort of a man coverage, screen pass, where those tend to be a lot more difficult. And it's also especially important because when teams play zone, it's harder to run the football. So if you want to get these, intermediate, 3 to 5 yard plays, you got to be able to convert on these. Right when Derek Carr takes the snap, he, uses his eyes. I think that was just an entire fake. But then, quite frankly, he just overthrows Hunter Renfrow. And I'm not going to show a million of these because, there's not a million to show, but definitely the inaccuracy was it was an aspect for Carr. It really was. Like, this one's another one. It's a very bizarre thing because one of the things we think about with Derek Carr is like, oh, accuracy. Like, that's one of his positives. So I should mention right here, I don't think it's a concern at all. I think it would be insane to be like, uh-oh, Derek Carr, maybe he's inaccurate. Like, no, we've seen Derek Carr for years. We know he's accurate. So it's kind of one of those things where you're going to have bad days. Derek Carr, I do think, had a bad day. Also, loss wasn't all on him, of course. But what's going to happen on this play is that it's going to be zone coverage. It's a cover 3 zone. You have multiple receivers who are running deep routes, and then it's going to be Darren Waller who's kind of running underneath. On top of this, what you have is play action with a designed rollout with Derek Carr. And what makes this interesting is that typically on these plays, you leave the edge rusher in the area that Derek Carr is going to be running to unblocked, which might seem counterintuitive, but it's actually something that tends to work out pretty well. The edge rusher crashes in towards the halfback, and then Carr can just run to the outside. If you remember, if you watched that Bears-Steelers game when TJ Watt had that free shot, that was just when TJ Watt read the play quickly and was able to get there. This is the concept teams tend to do pretty frequently. But a necessary thing to point out here as well is that this is going to actually be a blitz right here. You see that there's a defensive back who's kind of on that side as well. Watch him. Look, so here comes the blitz. Carr now immediately under pressure, which he didn't know was a possibility, but he didn't expect it to be from that player. But regardless, you have Darren Waller who could get open, and quite frankly, this is something that Derek Carr has thrived in so far this season. Derek Carr has had no issue with these types of plays of just, hey, throw it off your back foot. He's been very accurate. He's one of those guys who you just really should almost never blitz because he is someone who is really effective against the blitz and in these types of situations. However, this one's just going to be just behind Waller right there. It's a little bit hard to tell from this angle, but the other angle shows he just threw it behind Waller. Waller couldn't make the grab right there. So kind of a tough play. Again, these are just 2 examples. There were a number of examples. Just his accuracy was off, which, again, sometimes it happens. All right, let's talk about the pick 6. The pick 6 is actually interesting. What's going to happen here is that, so it's a cover 3 zone blitz, but it's a disguise. So the player who's going to be covering, look at the bottom 2 zones. That's really the most important thing to look at. One of the guys who's going to be covering that is, number 22, the guy who's currently looking like he's covering the sort of the shallower area, but he's not. He's going to actually stay further deep, and the safety is going to come crashing in. So this is a concept that typically works against this type of coverage, which is why Carr wants to make this throw. You have a receiver run deep, that pushes every Giants player further deep. You then can have Hunter Renfrow kind of run underneath and gain some yards. And look, right when this play starts, so at this point, this kind of appears to be open. This doesn't seem to be that bad of a decision to make, but what makes this more difficult is that the Giants player who's running in, he actually is, his momentum is taking him further, not further back. This is Xavier McKinney on this play. So, typically in this spot, you're thinking, hey, Hunter Renfrow, good receiver going up against a safety. We like our chances, and, it's a concept that works. But the issue is McKinney is already running forward. So because of this, it's kind of essentially a defensive lottery play. Sometimes you just get the exact right play call for the right concept, and it just works out perfectly, and that's what's happened here. Carr makes this throw. You could argue he should have read it, but it's tough. I mean, this is the NFL. It's difficult to, all the time get it perfect. It's going to be intercepted. Typically, I don't blame the quarterback on these types of plays. I might put a little bit more blame on Carr because I do feel like this one was a little bit easier to read than some of these other lottery type plays, but still, that's what happened. It was kind of just a tough break for the Raiders right there. We also have this one where, again, it's going to be the same coverage. It's that cover 3 zone blitz, and you see the route on the screen. This is something that could work. I mean, it's a route towards the sideline, a deep route, and with just a single safety who is staying deep, this now means that it'll be difficult for, him to get over there. You can't cover the entire field. So these types of routes are routes that, quarterbacks love to throw to against this type of concept. Right when this play starts, so you see it's working out well. I mean, James Bradbury got beat a little bit. He's a good corner. I mean, it's going to be tough to completely burn him. But what you can do here if you're Carr is you can kind of make this throw. The issue really is just look at the safety and look at, again, this is Xavier McKinney. He had 2 interceptions in this one. And look at how he's just reading this play well and getting over there. This is something that, again, you kind of do have to pay attention to on these plays. Where is the safety? And at this point, he should know this is actually not a throw he should make. This is too dangerous. But maybe that's asking too much. I mean, you can't see the whole field. But that's really, if you were to critique him on this play, it's just not paying enough attention to where the safety went because, I mean, literally, right when the play started, McKinney started running towards this direction. Carr's going to make the throw anyways, and it is going to get picked off right there. So, again, some good defensive plays for sure that happened a lot. Also, some maybe questionable decisions from Carr. Again, I keep saying it wasn't his best day. Doesn't mean he played horrible. It doesn't mean that he sucks. It just means he didn't have his best day. I think it's hard to argue the contrary. So yeah, I mean, listen, again, if you've been following this channel, I'm a big Raiders guy, big Carr guy. They're not my team or anything, but I like them, and I like Derek Carr a lot. I've always felt like he is a really underrated quarterback, and it's nice to see him finally get some recognition. But this wasn't his best day. There's no denying that. Watch the tape and see, yeah, this wasn't his best day. But part of that was the Giants kind of put him in that situation. So you got to give credit to the defense. And, you expect that Derek Carr will not have a bad performance by his standards consistently. So, yeah, big week against the Chiefs coming up. Should be a fun one. But, yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.